Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air tighten like someone had already decided you didn't belong? Like your presence alone had committed some invisible offense? That's exactly how I felt stepping into the monthly Willowbrook HOA meeting, wearing nothing but a simple olive drab t-shirt and my old aviators. Not a flashy outfit. Not provocative. But apparently, just existing in it was enough to ignite some internal alarm in the reigning queen of our cul-de-sac. Her name, not officially, but spiritually, was Karen. Her real name was Belinda Cromwell, but trust me, she wore the spirit of a Karen like it was tailored couture. She was the HOA president, unofficial enforcer of suburban purity, and self-appointed cultural gatekeeper. The woman once fined a neighbor for having unmilitary grass. No joke. But this time, she didn't just pull out her rulebook. She went thermonuclear. I had barely eased into my seat when I felt the heat of her stare slicing into the side of my face. She stood abruptly, the drama of her movements matched only by the hiss of the folding chair beneath her. "Excuse me," she said, voice high and sharp, slicing through the murmurs. "I find that shirt offensive. You shouldn't mock the sacrifices of real veterans." The room fell silent. You could hear the whir of the ceiling fan struggling to keep pace with the tension. I blinked. Once. Twice. I realized what was happening. Karen, Belinda, was accusing me of impersonating a veteran. This, from the same woman who once tried to ban wind chimes for being too emotionally disruptive. She continued, pointing a freshly manicured finger at me. "That shirt is government issued. Impersonating a soldier is a federal offense. I could have you arrested." She said this like she was deputized by the Pentagon, armed with nothing but outdated bylaws and her own bloated sense of authority. Some people shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Others looked down at their hands. One man angled his phone camera in her direction under the guise of checking texts. I didn't speak. Not yet. My jaw tensed, but I remained still, letting the moment stretch. Karen took my silence as validation and doubled down. "I take veteran fraud very seriously," she announced, as though she were launching a press conference. "My cousin served in Afghanistan. I know what sacrifice looks like." That almost made me laugh. Not because of her cousin, but because this was the same woman who tried to cancel our Memorial Day barbecue over the aggressive smell of grilled meats. She had no clue who I was. And the worst part? She thought she was the hero of the story. "I moved to have him removed," she declared to the board. "This is stolen valor, and I won't sit here while someone disrespects our military." Marcus, one of the younger board members, shifted uneasily. "Do you have any proof he's not a veteran?" "I don't need proof," Karen snapped. "Just look at him. Real veterans don't act like that." That's when I almost smiled. I've been shot at in 3 countries. I've pulled civilians from burning vehicles and once talked down a man holding a grenade in a crowded bazaar. But sure, tell me more about how veterans are supposed to act. I stayed silent. She kept pacing, heels clacking like ticking bombs. She pointed again. "Take off those sunglasses. If you're proud of your service, prove it." "Let me explain. I don't wear sunglasses to look cool. I wear them because bright lights screw with my vision, a side effect of a blast that nearly took my left eye." But I wasn't about to explain that to her. Not yet. Instead, I tilted my head and raised an eyebrow behind the lenses. Karen took that as weakness. "See? Anyone can wear a military shirt and pretend they did something. It's disgusting." From the back, Tom, a retired firefighter with no patience for nonsense, leaned forward and muttered, "Oh no. She doesn't know." Heads turned toward me. Eyes narrowed. Recognition flickered. Karen kept ranting, oblivious. She was too busy building a soapbox from ego and napkins. Tom stood, slow and solid. "Karen, maybe sit down before you embarrass yourself further." "Excuse me? I'm standing up for veterans." Tom didn't blink. "You have no idea who that man is, do you?" "I don't need to know who he is. I know what he's not." That was the crack. Rosa, a soft-spoken woman whose son died in Iraq, squinted at me. Her hand flew to her mouth. "I know you," she whispered. "You carried him. My son. At Arlington." Now the silence was reverent. Karen took a step back. Still, I said nothing. Rosa stood, trembling but firm. "You were part of the honors team. I remember your face." I rose slowly. The room shifted with me. Karen paled. I removed my sunglasses. The scars on the left side of my face caught the fluorescence, sharp and undeniable. The kind that only come from war, not cosplay. People began standing. Not in drama, but in instinctive respect. Tom was already upright. Marcus followed. Even Cheryl, Karen's loyal second-in-command, looked away. Karen stammered. "I didn't know." You weren't in uniform. Tom cut her off. You thought wrong. And you made a public accusation. Karen looked for allies, but found none. Rosa's voice cracked through the silence. You weren't protecting anything. You were humiliating someone. Finally, I spoke. Just 5 words. I served. You didn't. Stop. That shut her down. Marcus looked around. Given what just happened, I motioned to formally censure Karen for harassment, defamation, and disruption. Cheryl raised her hand first. I second. The vote was unanimous. Karen recoiled. You're punishing me? I was protecting our integrity. You crossed a line, Marcus replied. Karen tried one last dramatic exit. Fine. Maybe I shouldn't be part of this HOA. Promise. Tom muttered. She stormed out. Before the doors shut, someone from the back called out, next time, maybe ask first. A slow ripple of respectful clapping followed. No cheering. Just quiet applause that said, we see you. Afterward, neighbors came up to shake my hand or just nod. Rosa hugged me and whispered, thank you for carrying him. By morning, Karen's power had evaporated. Her flyers disappeared. Her clique went silent. Someone planted a flag in her yard with a note. Next time, ask. No threats. No vandalism. Just truth. 3 days later, Greg knocked on my door. Dude, you're on the news. It wasn't just local. A veterans advocacy page had shared the clip. 600,000 views and counting. Karen was dragged. Hard. Her Yelp reviews, LinkedIn bio, and even old HOA emails were unearthed. Turns out, she just listed herself as a community affairs consultant at a firm known for hiring veterans. They issued a public statement. We remain committed to honoring those who serve. The individual in question is no longer affiliated with our organization. She was fired. Erased. Her control, gone. At the next HOA meeting, Marcus proposed renaming the garden path. Karen had always called it Karen's Crossing. We'd like to honor someone else, Marcus said. Someone who actually carried this community with dignity. The new name, Honor Walk. A simple plaque replaced her painted rock. No ceremony. Just a quiet correction. A few days later, I saw Karen at the grocery store. Hoodie up. Sunglasses on. She looked at me, froze, and turned away. I gave her a nod. Not out of spite. Just recognition. She scanned her items and left without a word. That was enough. Because this wasn't just a story about a bad HOA meeting. It was a story about how truth doesn't need volume. It needs patience. And sometimes, the loudest thing you can do is stay silent long enough to let people show exactly who they are. She built every consequence. I just let gravity do the rest. And every time I pass that plaque, I remember, silence isn't weakness. It's strategy.